Yo, what's up, my bubbly boys, and welcome to the complete live twin feedsmith guide. So I'm really excited to show you guys this. I worked a really long time on making this for you guys. So this is gonna be a video. So this is gonna be like a spreadsheet type of video where I'm gonna be showing you guys a variation of combos that basically any possible combos, one card combo and 2 card combos, as well as combos that are going to show you how to play through hand traps, including hand traps like Fuwa, which is going to be really nice. I want to show you guys that. And yeah, so I'm really excited to show you guys this. I'm not going to waste much of your time since this is going to be a long video, so I'm going to hop right into it. But before I hop right into it, I do want to give a disclaimer. This is a spreadsheet type of video, so I want you to apply the spreadsheet principles to this video as well. Although this video is going to teach you how to play the deck, or maybe existing players, this is going to show you new combos how to play the deck. This is post banlist, by the way, so you're going to see like Lacrima implemented into some combos, but this is not going to fully teach you how to play the deck, if that makes sense, right? So some of these combos are going to show you how to play through one hand trap, right? But it's kind of unrealistic goal to have if you think that your opponent's going to only hand trap you once and that's it, right? Sure, these combos are good to know if your opponent does hand trap you at a certain point and you know how to play on through that, and now you have like your end goal in mind that's changing as you play the game. But it's really unrealistic that your opponent is going to hand trap you once, especially against decks and decks like Draco Tail and Yummy that could have an upward like 18 hand traps in the deck, right? And have no problem with it. So most of the time they're going to open multiple hand traps against you, right? So at the end of the day, this deck requires to have so like learning deck is fine, like spreadsheets are fine, is actually really good to learn the deck, but to actually apply the deck, like apply the deck and learn how to play in certain situations, and having different awkward game states, that this spreadsheet is not going to show you how to play through those awkward situations and scenarios in that you see regularly in Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, right? So at the end of the day, this takes a lot of experience in order to know how to play this deck. So at the end of the day, you're going to use the spreadsheet if you're learning the deck, but you need to keep on playing with it and getting into those awkward situations in order to actually fully learn the deck, if that makes sense, right? So yeah, I just want to give that disclaimer out real quick. But yeah, before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's hop right into it, okay? Okay, one way to start the video, okay. So we're going to start off with a 1-card Ki-sikil combo. This is your main starter, literally the best starter in the entire deck. So I'm going to be showing you guys a 1-card combo with her. So first, you're going to normal summon her, okay? Activate the effect, she's going to summon out Lila. Remember, if they hand trap this, you could still extend. Like, there's no reason for them to hand trap this, because you could just go into deal and they just keep on extending through that, right? Next, you're going to go ahead and link into Ki-sikil Deal. Ki-sikil Deal is then going to send a Sweet. Sweet is going to summon itself. And next, we're going to go ahead and link the Ki-sikil Deal off for Requiem. Requiem effect is going to activate, summoning out Lacrima. Lacrima effect is going to send a Fiendsmith. We're going to equip the Requiem to the Lacrima, which is some combos you're going to see that I don't do this here, but usually you want to do this as early as possible, so that way when you're going into Evil Twins, if your opponent hand traps you like with a Bestial or DD Crow or Belle or something like that, you get a free draw. So I'm trying to get used to that. So most of the time, if you have a Lacrima on board, you want to equip it with the Requiem and go into Necro Equips as early as possible, so that way you can play around those certain hand traps, right? So I know, that man, Bestials can't do that, but stuff like DD Crow and just like any hand trap that sends itself from hand to grave is going to be really nice, right? So next, you're going to go ahead and go into Necro Equip here. You're going to link these two into Lila. Lila's going to summon back Ki-sikil. You're going to link these two off for a Ki-sikil. And Ki-sikil's going to summon back Lila. Then we're going to go ahead and go all the way into Trouble Sunny. Trouble Sunny is going to then summon back the 2 twins. And then Ki-sikil is going to draw since it was summoned with Lila, which is really nice. We're then going to link into a Baoku here. And then after that, for an extra draw, you can use a Baoku here. But if you use a Baoku here, you lose very hard to nib. So if you go a Baoku here, discard for cost, and your opponent nibs you here, there's no like follow-up play. I mean, yes, there is follow-up play because you have Engraver that you still haven't used. But yeah, it's just I like activating Engraver first, and then after that, check for nib, because then you have 2 level 6s on board, so they have to nib you here. And then after that, if they nib you here, you have a guaranteed a battle on board. But like it also like varies on the player too. Like I think it's fine if you just use a bow here, because then you have a Engraver, go sequence, and then go to the Lacrima and stuff like that, and still set up a Caesar. But yeah, okay. So we're gonna go ahead and discard a card, banish yourself, summon back to Trouble Sunny, and then after that, Necroquip is then going to activate its effect in order to draw a card, okay? Since we discarded a monster, okay? So we're going to draw into any card. Doesn't really matter here. We're going to use Engraver, summon back Engraver. And then we're going to XZ summon into DDD Wave High King Caesar. So next we go ahead and go with end phase, and a bow will come back. And since this was a 1-card combo, we still have 4 other cards in hand. So a total of a 5-card hand, which is really, really nice, okay? So we're going to get our 5 cards here. And this is our end board. So I'm going to be actually showing you guys what you actually have here. So for this end board, you have Trouble Sunny that can summon back to 2 twins. Lila can go ahead and pop a card on board, and then Ki-sikil can draw. And then you have whatever hand traps you have in your hand that you can use. You also have DDD Wave Hacking Caesar that can negate 2 effects, like a special summon monster. And then after that, you have Lacrima Engraved that can shuffle itself back, summon the Requiem. And then after that, Requiem effect. Somehow Lacrima, and then Lacrima's sending the Paradise. Paradise can then banish itself to go ahead and send a Desiree. Desiree can shuffle back any Life Fiend in order to send a card on field to grave. And then you have a Baoku that could discard a card to pop a card on board. So you have a total of 1 disruption, 2, 3, 4, 5 guaranteed disruptions, right? So most of the time that your opponent is not going to be able to play through all these disruptions, especially if they're playing something as bricky as like Draco Tail and K9. So most of the time they're not going to be able to play through this. And even if they're able to play through this board alone, most of the time you're going to have hand traps to pair along with this board, right? So even if they somehow board wipe you, something like that, it's still fine. You're going to have like 4 to 5 hand traps in hand, which is insanely good. And yeah, so this is probably like one of the best boards in the entire deck. As a 1-card combo board is absolutely insane. It can play through multiple hand traps as well, right? And you still end up on sort of the same end board, right? So yeah, this is the 1-card combo, and let's go on to to another 1-card combo. Alrighty, so welcome to another 1-card combo. This is going to be the same Ki-sikil combo, but if you get ashed on Requiem, okay? So Requiem was one of the key choke points of this deck, because once you ash the Requiem and we don't have a way to extend through that, we had basically no way of getting to our Fiendsmith engine, right? So we had no way of getting to Caesar, and we would just end on a bow plus Trouble Sunny, right? Which really wasn't really that ideal, but now you actually have a way to play through that and still end on a Caesar, which I'll be showing you guys that now. So we're going to normal summon Ki-sikil, activate the effect. We're going to summon back to Lila. Then after that, we're going to go deal, send a Sweet. Sweet is going to summon itself. And after that, we're going to go ahead and go into Requiem. Requiem is then going to get ashed by our opponent, so very unfortunate. So we're going to go ahead and go into our Lila. Lila effect is going to summon back Ki-sikil. We're going to go ahead and go Ki-sikil, summon back Lila. Okay, then after that, we're going to go into Trouble Sunny here. Trouble Sunny is then going to activate this effect to summon back the 2 twins. And then Ki-sikil is going to draw a card. Doesn't matter what we draw into. Normally, if it's an Engraver or something like that, now you have access to your Fiendsmith engine. Congratulations. But let's say if this was like any other card, right? Let's say it was a Ghost Ogre or something like that, and we still don't have access to our Fiendsmith engine. So now we're going to go ahead and go link into Sequence here. Sequence is then going to shuffle back 2 Light Fiends. So very conveniently, Ki-sikil Deal is a Light Fiend plus the Requiem as well. So we can shuffle those 2 back in order to summon out the newly unbanned Lacrima. Lacrima is a Light Fiend. I mean, it requires only 2 Light Fiends. So we could actually fusion summon into this, which is very, very nice. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and go link, summon out the Lacrima. And then after that, Lacrima is going to summon any Light Fiend from grave. Oh my goodness, I cannot talk today. So we're going to summon back any Light Fiend. So we're going to go ahead and summon out Ki-sikil. Regular Ki-sikil though. I mean the link to Ki-sikil. And then we're going to link into a bow here. Then a bow is going to go ahead. Oh, we're also going to equip the sequence first. So we had to do this before we activated Lacrima here. And I'll be sure, a Baoku here. And we're going to show you guys why in a bit. So we're going to equip the sequence. And then after that, go into Necroquip. Lacrima is then going to send a shuffle back to Sequence. Then after a bow is going to banish itself, discard a card in order to summon back the Lacrima. And then we also get an extra draw since we discarded a monster. But remember, it only can apply if you only discard a monster, okay? So next we're going to go into Caesar. And then pass turn. So this is our end board here. And this may not look like much, but it is still a lot here, okay? So we do have, remember, 4 other cards in hand, since this was a 1-card combo. And plus the card we drew as well. So this is really, really nice here. We have a 5-card hand plus a Baoku that could go ahead and tag out and summon back to Trouble Sunny. Okay, next Trouble Sunny can go ahead and tag out, summon back to 2 twins. And let's say if you have something like Fool Loss in hand, which is really nice here, I go ahead and discard the Fool Loss in order to summon back to 2 twins. And Ki-sikil can draw me a nice fresh card, so that way maybe it's applicable here. So Imperm is still not applicable here, but it's still better than having a Fool Loss in hand, right? So we're going to go into Caesar here, so 2 negates here, plus a pop and a draw. And which is really nice. So you have 3 interruptions here, plus a guaranteed follow-up, since a Belle can go ahead and draw you a bunch of cards on your standby phase, and you're guaranteed most of the time you're gonna have a bunch of hand traps in hand, right? I'm not gonna say guaranteed because of course you have those really, really weird games where you just draw engine the entire turn. It happens very rarely, but it does happen, right? But most of the time, like 99.9% of the time, you're gonna be drawing into hand traps, if not multiple hand traps, right? And then, yeah, so then after we're going to use any hand traps that are usable in our hand, and that is going to end our turn here. So remember, this deck is sort of like a low to ceiling field, but like a high ceiling in general because of the amount of hand traps we're running in the deck, which is really, really nice. So this makes playing the deck going first really insane, and going second really insane as well, right? So this is the way you play around Ash Blossom. This is way better than what you usually would end on, which was just a Bow and Trouble Sunny. Now you end on a Caesar here, which is guaranteed 2 interruptions, which is really, really, really nice. And yeah, so now that we are done with this combo, let's go on to another combo here. Alright, so welcome to combo number 3 in today's video. This is going to be a 1-card combo with Ki-sikil yet again, but this is if you get Belled on your Trouble Sunny, okay? So this is another, like, choke point that people thought this was a choke point. This isn't really a choke point, right? And I'll be showing you guys why in a bit. And especially now, it's not really a choke point at all. So we're going to normal summon Ki-sikil, activate the effect, summon back Lilla. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and go into Ki-sikil Deal. Ki-sikil Deal is then going to send a Sweet. Sweet is then going to summon itself. Then after, we're going to link into Requiem. Requiem effect is then going to activate. It's going to summon out our Lacrima. Lacrima is going to send a Fiendsmith. And then after, we're going to equip, remember, and then send these to grave to summon out a Necroquip. So really, really nice here. So this is why I was showing you guys why you sort of need to get the Necroquip early here. So that way, if they bell us on our Trouble Sunny, we have Necroquip on board, we draw in a free card. So it's free value here. I don't understand why we wouldn't do that, right? So I'm trying to get to a habit of that. In some combos, you'll see that I don't do this, but most of the time you do, okay? Just keep that in note, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and link into Lilla. Go ahead, Lilla, summon back Ki-sikil. Next, we're going to go ahead and go Ki-sikil effect, summon back a Lilla. And then we're going to go into Trouble Sunny. Trouble Sunny is going to attempt to summon back to 2 twins. We're going to get Belled. And then Necroquip is going to draw here, okay? So it doesn't matter what we draw here. Lurie, I think, was going to be used here. So that's why I didn't, I put back the Lurie. So next, we're going to go ahead and go Engraver. Shuffle back the Ki-sikil Deal in order to summon back the Engraver. Then we're going to go into Sequence. Sequence is then going to shuffle back 2 Life Fiends in order to summon back Lacrima. Lacrima is then summon back to Ki-sikil. We're going to go ahead and go for this sort of same combo again as if you were to get Ashed, right? So next, we're going to go and discard a card, summon back the Necroquip. Go ahead and go into a Caesar and then pass turn here, okay? So this is sort of like the Ash combo, just different because you don't get an additional card. So because remember, you need Trouble Sunny to resolve in order for you to get that free draw. But other than that, it's just the same exact combo as the Ash Blossom combo. So you still have 4 other cards in hand, plus the Baoku on board, and plus the Caesar that has 2 negates, which is really, really nice. So since your opponent used Ghost Ogre, I mean, the Ghost Ogre, not Ghost Ogre, Ghost Belle, is they're going to end up with a 5-card hand with the card they draw into. So, and then you have a total of most likely you're going to have a total of more than 5 disruptions, right? So you have the Caesar that has 2 negates, the Baoku that's going to go ahead and summon back to Trouble Sunny, which will get us a pop and a draw. So we're going to discard a card here, summon back the Trouble Sunny. So Trouble Sunny is then going to get ahead and get us a pop and a draw. So that's 1 interruption here, and plus the 2 interruptions off the Caesar. That's 2 interruptions. Okay, so then they have 2 other cards in hand. Okay, remember we detached the Lacrima, so we can actually use this effect to shuffle back a Life Fiend in order to burn for 12. and you have whatever hand traps you have in your hand, which is really, really nice here. So here we had 3 hand traps, so we were able to have a total of 6 disruptions in total, especially with the Lacrima on board. And even if we don't have enough disruptions to disrupt our opponent's entire hand, let's say if they have a hand full of engine, you're gonna have a Baoku that's gonna come back at the end at the standby phase in order to give you nice follow up, which is really, really nice. Plus Engrave that gives you nice follow up as well, right? So yeah, now let's go on to another 1-card combo. All right, welcome to another 1-card combo. This is gonna be a 1-card combo if you're getting nibbed. Nib for this deck Nib against this deck does not do anything at all. Okay, let's be honest. Nib literally, like, by itself cannot do anything against this deck, right? It's not that this deck sets up an early negate, it just sets up a sort of way to play around Nib very easily, right? I will show you guys why in this today's video, right? And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and go and normal summon our Ki-sikil. This is specifically with the Ki-sikil combo. I'm gonna be showing you guys a way to play around Nibiru with the Frost combo as well, so stay tuned for that. We're gonna go ahead and go link into Dio. Remember, sort of rinse and repeat here. We're gonna go ahead and summon back to Sweet. Requiem is going to be your 5th summon here. So you have the Ki-sikil, the summons back to Lilla. Then that go ahead and goes into Deal, that's 3. Sweet is 4. And then link into Requiem is 5. Very important here. You use your turn player priority. Turn player priority is your best friend. Okay? Because if you do not say turn player priority and use Requiem's effect, then your opponent can nib here. And you have no choice to respond with Requiem, okay? And if you respond with Requiem, you're kind of forced to summon back Engraver instead of Lacrima. Because if you summon back Lacrima and then Nib resolves, wiping the whole board, Lacrima will not be able to activate its effect. Since it was, at the end of the chain, it wasn't a normal special summon. It was just, it's engraved now. So, it's very important that you use Requiem here. So that way for turn player priority. So if you use Requiem here, it's going to trip yourself for cost. If your opponent nibs here, then you're gonna still have a guaranteed body on board. So it makes no sense for your opponent to nib here. Okay, you're gonna go ahead and summon back Lacrima. Lacrima is gonna send Fiendsmith, and then I'm gonna be showing you guys a variation of points where your opponent can nib you. Because it varies with the different players, right? People think that like different points of the deck in which you could nib is going to matter, which it really, really doesn't, right? So let's say if your opponent nibs here as early as possible, right? So we're gonna summon tribute all these, summon back a token, so the beer activates here. And next after that, we're going to go ahead and go Requiem, Engraver, since we haven't used Engraver yet. So we're going to shuffle back the deal, summon back the Engraver, and then we're going to have to go ahead and use the Engraver effect we're going to use Requiem to equip to the Engraver, okay? Next, we're going to go ahead and use the Engraver to pop the Nibiru while also popping the Requiem, right? So if you set up a Caesar here, and without outing this Nibiru, all they need to do is attack over the Caesar, and now you don't have a Caesar on board, right? So this is really important that you would find a way to remove the Nibiru. So this is my way of removing the Nibiru, so now you could go ahead and link these 2 off for a sequence, and next after that, we're going to shuffle back the 2 Light Fiends in order to summon back a Lacrima. Lacrima is then going to summon back the Fiendsmith. Okay? You can go into Caesar depending on the matchup. Usually in Drago Tail or Mitsurugi matchup, maybe Canine because they have like Joe Cool and like Izuna and stuff like that, like a special summon. So sometimes you can go into Caesar right here and just end on the sequence that doesn't do anything plus the Caesar plus whatever cards you have in hand. Or you could go for this line here. So you could just link all of them into a Baoku here. And then what's it called? Lacrima is then going to go ahead and shuffle back in order to burn for 12. And then remember, this combo specifically requires another card in hand. So this is sort of like a 1.5 combo in order to play around it. But most of the time you can have another card in hand, so it doesn't matter. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and summon back to Lilla. Remember, we used Ki-sikil effect this turn, right? We haven't used Lilla's effect. So Lilla is going to go ahead and activate and summon back to Frost, okay? Now we could go and still go full live twin combo. So yeah, this really depends on what you think would be better in that certain matchup. And yeah, so we're gonna go summon the Lilla. Go ahead and get the Ki-sikil. Ki-sikil is gonna draw a card, go into Trouble Sunny. Trouble Sunny is they're not going to activate the effect just because you're not really going to get any value out of it since there's nothing you can really link summon into. I mean, if you want to play around board breakers, then you activate Trouble Sunny's effect in order to summon back to 2 twins, then go into Muckraker. Muckraker discarding a card. If you only have hand traps in hand, it doesn't, like, I don't really think you should be discarding cards. But you could discard a card, like let's say if you drew into Lacrima here, like I just did. You could go ahead and summon back to Trouble Sunny, and now you have a protection against board wipes. So if your opponent has Lightning Storm or Raigeki or something like that, you're protected by the Muckrakers, which is really, really nice. Okay, so yeah, so this is 1 point that you could actually nib here. So you also remember you also have 4 other cards in hand. Actually 3 other cards in, no, yeah, 4 other cards in hand, counting the one you just drew. Yeah, so next we're gonna have Frost to draw a card. We're gonna have a Bow that could discard a pop. We have the Ki-sikil to summon back to 2 twins. And after Lila and Ki-sikil can draw, Ki-sikil to draw, Lila can pop. And then you have whatever hand traps you have in your hand, right? So this is usually still gonna be enough, right? So this combo is still gonna be enough. Your opponent, remember, is gonna be on a 5-card hand since they use Nibiru. And you still have whatever hand traps plus the 2 pops on board, which is really, really nice. Plus follow up if they leave the Valko on board. Plus the draw you have about for Frost, which is really, really insane. So a total, you have a lot of cards in hand, right? So yeah. So this is 1 point they can nib you here. Let me show you guys another point that they can nib you here. Let me just reset this real quick to back where we were, so that way I can show you guys another point. Alrighty, so to the second point they can nib you is I think before that you use Trouble Sunny's effect. So I believe I'm gonna show that here. So let's say if they don't nib you here, right? So you're gonna go ahead and equip the Rec Room to Lacrima, then go ahead and send these 2 for a Necro equip. We're then going to go ahead and link it to Lila. Lila's going to summon back Ki-sikil. Very repetitive, I know. But this is what the deck can do. This is what the deck does. It is a nice rinse and repeat process. So we're going to go ahead and summon back Lila. We're going to use Trouble Sunny. We're going to link it to Trouble Sunny. But sometimes they can, like, before you go into Trouble Sunny, they could nib you here. So we miss out on a draw. Sort of doesn't really matter here, but most of the time they'll nib you before you draw, right? If they're a good player, right? So yeah, it's gonna go ahead and go Ki-sikil effect to draw. If they nib here, okay, you're gonna go summon a token. You remember you still haven't used Engraver, so you could use Engraver effect here to shuffle back, summon back the Engraver. Go into sequence. Sequence is gonna go ahead and I think we missed something here. Yes. Okay. So we have to equip the Rec Room first in order to pop the Nibiru. Very, very important. And then after that, we go into sequence. My apologies. So we're going to go ahead and go into sequence. Shuffle back these 2 in order to go ahead and summon out our Lacrima. Lacrima is then going to summon back the Ki-sikil from our grave. We are then going to go ahead and go into a Bow. Bow is going to discard a card in order to go ahead and summon back a monster from grave. We're going to go into Caesar. And then pass our turn with a Bow on board, which is really, really nice here, okay? I believe he could have done this with the first card combo. I think I made a mistake on the first card combo. My apologies. I think that's what happened. No, because we didn't get access to the Lifetime engine. Okay, never mind. I didn't make a mistake. My bad. I'm just questioning myself here. But yeah, you do end on Caesar plus a Bow here, which is really, really nice. So, and then you remember, you have 4 other cards in hand as well, right? So you can have that sort of end board, like with the same end board as the Belle combo plus Ash combo, which is really nice. And yeah, so I'm going to be showing you guys another point they could nib here. So let's go ahead and reset this board here. Okay, and then we're going to go shuffle back these 3 back since they weren't in, and let's reset everything. Okay, so next, if we're going to go into a Bow here, okay? If they nib you, okay, wait. First, before we activate the Engraver. First, if they nib you here, you just chain a Bow. The Bow gets banished. That way, it comes back at the end phase. And you have a guarantee to get a Bow in your opponent's turn, which is really nice, okay? And then let's say if we go ahead and they wait for the last point to nib, okay? They have to nib here, okay? If they're a smart player, when most players are indeed competent, I will say that. Some, I said some, most, or some. Take what you want from that, okay? But, okay, my apology. But, okay, so, if they nib you here, which is the latest point they can nib you, okay? Since you have 2 level 6s on board, you can easily go into Caesar, right? They can see what you're doing, okay? If they nib you here, You chain a bow, discard a card, go ahead and bring back anything. It does not matter, okay? Then Nib Resolve, go ahead and tribute everything on board. And yeah, since you already used the engraver, you have to sort of you just end on a bow, okay? So this is probably the best point they can nib you, which is at the latest point. But if you have like a way to extend, so remember this is just a 1-card combo. There's plenty of ways to extend. You could extend with most of the time is good like engraver or like the tracks that engraver can search. Like so you have like 4 cards that can extend. There's plenty of ways that you could extend. You just have to sort of like figure that out depending on the hand that you have in hand, right? So yeah. So this is going to be our end board here. Remember, we have 4 other cards in hand, so even if this does not look like much at all, it still is somewhat oppressive, okay? Most of the time, your opponent isn't going to be able to play through 4 hand traps, but we need to be able to. We also have a Lacrima setup too in grave, which is really nice. So 6 interruptions still, like 2 interruptions guaranteed, but like you have all these cards in hand as well that are potentially hand traps. So depending how many hand traps you had, affects how much disruptions you have in hand. 2 guaranteed on your board, and up to 6. Okay, so which is really nice. You have Requiem to send back Lacrima. Lacrima then go ahead and send Paradise. Then after that, we're gonna go a discard, summon back a Trouble Sunny. So Baoku is going to give us that nice guarantee follow-up. I like doing Trouble Sunny here, especially if you like discard a Frost earlier. And then you have a Ki-sikil that could pop and Lilac that could draw. I mean, Ki-sikil that could draw, Lilac that could pop, okay? And then you have whatever hand traps you have in your hand as well, right? And then if you have Frost Engrave, you can also get a guaranteed draw on board too, which is really nice, right? So you have nice follow-up here, nice follow-up with the Baoku. You have nice follow-up with the Engraver. So most of the time, if they can't kill you, you're gonna win them. You're gonna beat them anyways, right? And yeah, so that is it for the 1-card combo playing around Nib. Now let's go on to the 1-card combo to play. Let's go on to another 1-card combo, okay? Alrighty, so for our next 1-card combo, we have a combo against for Frost. Okay, so I'm gonna be showing you guys all the 1-card combos, including Frost. Plus, and then later on, we'll be showing you guys some 2-card combos. So first will be Frost, then Engraver, and then after that, some 2-card combos. Okay, so this is gonna be a 1-card combo with Frost specifically. Okay, so before you sort of had to end on Trouble Sunny plus Tabaku plus Desiree, but now this combo is gonna change a lot because of the inclusion of Lacrima, right? So yeah, let's hop right into it. So we're gonna normal summon Frost, link into deal effect is going to send a sweep. By the way, this is it's significantly worse in certain aspects compared to the Ki-sikil combo, but it's still like better than the Lila combo, right? Because at least it doesn't lose to like Imperm or Veiler or anything like that, right? It doesn't lose to Imperm, Veiler, Ash, stuff like that on your Lila, and then most of the time you can't play through that, right? So, depending on the hand you have, of course. But, yeah, so Ki-sikil Frost is still a viable 1-card combo since it still ends on an insane end board uninterrupted. So, I'll be showing you guys that now. Lacrima is then going to send Fiendsmith. I'm going to go ahead and link it to Lila here. Lila's going to send back Ki-sikil. Ki-sikil is then going to go... No, we're going to go link it to Ki-sikil. Ki-sikil send back Lila. Lila then go ahead and link those 2 into Trouble Sunny. Trouble Sunny send back 2 twins. Ki-sikil was then draw a card for ourselves. And next we're going to link these 2 off for a sequence. Sequence is then going to go ahead and shuffle back 2 Light Fiends in order to go ahead and summon out our copy of Lacrima. Lacrima is then going to summon back to Ki-sikil. Link those 2 into a Baoku. Engraver effect actually. We haven't used Engraver's effect, which is really nice here. So we're going to go overlay into Caesar. And then after that, we're going to use a Bow to summon back the Trouble Sunny and end our turn. So for our end board, this is going to be our end board here. Remember, 4 other cards in hand, since this was a 1-card combo. And let's get this here real quick. And this is our end board, okay? So let's show you guys what we have here. We have Frost Engrave that gives us an additional draw. So nice draw here. And next we're gonna go into Caesar. Caesar detach, just negate twice. We have oh shoot, we have a Baoku that discard to negate. I mean to discard to pop, and then we have Trouble Sunny that can summon back to 2 twins. And then Lila can go ahead and pop, and Ki-sikil can draw. Next, we have whatever hand traps we have in our hand, and that is also forgot to activate the effect of Lacrima when it's detached. I keep on forgetting that for some reason, but yeah, we'll get used to the format someday. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is our end board. Still a really nice end board. For being of Ki-sikil Frost Combo, because Ki-sikil Frost Combo was much worse, since it was way worse into Nibiru, as well as being worse into like as the end board in general, right? So now you end on Caesar, which is really nice. Now let's go into another 1-card combo, including Frost. Alrighty, so welcome to another 1-card combo. This is going to be showing the same Frost combo, but if you get nibbed. So I'm going to be showing you different points where you can get nibbed here. I believe some points you just lose nib automatically. So I think, I'm not too sure. I don't remember. This is a lot of combos I made, so most of the combos I don't remember. So yeah, let's see what happens here. So we're going to go ahead and go and deal. Deal effects is going to go be our second summon. Sweet is going to be our third. Go ahead and link into Requiem, which is going to be our fourth. And so you really don't need to worry about turn player priority when using Requiem here as your fourth summon, right? Then after that, you can go Lacrima. Lacrima said Fiendsmith. If they nib here, since Lacrima is your fifth summon, you could go ahead and get your token here. Then after that, we're going to go and get our Engraver. Shuffle back the Requiem, specifically the Requiem here, because we need to leave Deal Engrave, and I'll be showing you guys why. We're going to go ahead and go link into Sequence. Sequence is going to shuffle back to Life Fiend. So we're going to shuffle back to Lacrima and Engraver in order to go ahead and grab our Lacrima. Lacrima summons back any Life Fiend from grave. Ki-sikil Deal is a Life Fiend, and she's a Ki-sikil name as well. Wow. Amazing. So now we have a Ki-sikil Deal on board. And remember, Ki-sikil Deal, you can still special summon Ki-sikil Deal here because you can only link summon this card once per turn. It's not that you can't special summon this card multiple times in a turn, not like Requiem. It's going to only be link summoned once per turn. So you can still summon this card here, which is very nice. So we're going to link these two into Ki-sikil. And after that, Ki-sikil is going to go summon back Lila and go full live tune combo. Okay. Then Lila is going to summon back Ki-sikil here. Ki-sikil is going to draw. And we're going to deal with this nib very soon here. So we're going to go summon back the 2 twins. And next, after that, Lila's going to pop this to the Nibiru. Then we're going to go into a Baoku here. Baoku can go ahead. Actually, we're going to equip the sequence first. Very important here that we equip the sequence first. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and go sequence. I shuffle back to sequence, burn for 12. And then we're going to go a Baoku effect, summon back a lighter dark. And then go into Caesar. And pass turn here. So our end board is going to be what a significant, like, this is going to be like an iconic end board for getting hand trap, right? So this is going to be a Baoku plus Caesar plus 4 other cards in hand, which is absolutely insane. Right here, I didn't get really much good draws, but at the same time, you're going to see it is going to happen, but it's still like a decent amount of interrupts, right? So you're going to have a Baoku here to discard in order to summon back to Trouble Sunny. Trouble Sunny summon back to 2 twins. Okay, Ki-sikil is going to get you draw. Lila's going to get you a pop. We also have a draw off Frost, which is really nice. So we're going to get a nice extra draw here. We have whatever hand drops we have in our hand. And yeah, so let me show you. This was nib point number 1 in the Frost combo. Let me show you nib point number 2. Alright, so my apologies. Nib point number 2. I fast forward too much. But basically what happened here, we still have the Ki-sikil and the Lacrima on field. So basically what I did was I equipped the Lacrima with the Necro Equip. I believe that's what happened. No, I did not. Never mind. I lied. So yeah, the Lacrima, you're going to link the Lacrima and the Sweet together into a Lila. Lila is going to summon back Ki-sikil. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and summon back Ki-sikil. Ki-sikil is then going to summon back Lila. Lila is then going to go ahead and not do anything here. Needs to nib here rather than after Trouble Sunny. So that way they avoid you getting a draw here. So they're going to go ahead and nib you here. This is another nib point that they could go into. And you remember, you still haven't... My apologies. I hit my mic for some reason. So now we could go ahead and summon back the Engraver by shuffling back the Lacrima, I believe. In order to go and summon back Engraver, then we're going to go equipped. And then equip the Requiem in order to pop the Nibiru with our Engraver effect. Then we're gonna link it to sequence. Sequence is gonna shuffle back 2 Life Fiends in order to summon back Lacrima. Lacrima is gonna summon back the Ki-sikil. Gonna link into Trouble Sunny here, since Trouble Sunny only requires 2 monsters, including our evil twin monsters, which is absolutely insane. We're gonna summon back the 2 twins, and then after that, Ki-sikil could draw, and then go into a Baoku here. And then after that, we could go into our same combo as earlier, right? So remember we could go into Necroquip. And then after that, Lacrima, shuffle back, burn for 12, a Baoku, discard, summon, a Necroquip, affected draw. And then we go into Caesar and pass, right? So, and Baoku comes on end phase. And this is the same end board as nib point number 1. So let's show you another nib point that you could go on to here. Alright, so another nib point here. So is if they go before, okay, let me set up all this here, okay? So they go into Trouble Sunny, Trouble Sunny summons back the 2 twins, right? And next after that, okay, wait, hold up. We're getting there. Okay, so Trouble Sunny, effect, summon back to 2 twins, okay? Next after that, we're going to go ahead and draw off a Ki-sikil. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and go into sequence. Sequence is then going to go into shuffle back. If they nib you here, you just basically shuffle back the sequence with the engraver and then just go into sequence again and just use the effect. So it doesn't matter if they nib you here. That's why I didn't show the point. It's just basically the same thing. Next you're gonna go ahead and go Lacrima, summon back a Ki-sikil. Then after that, go into a Baoku here, and then go engraver effect here in order to summon back engraver. If you lose the nib here, so I think that was when you go into Lacrima, I believe it was before you go into Lacrima. I apologize. There's a point here where you lose the nib. I apologize. I wasn't able to show that here, and I can't really go back to it. But at some point here, before the Baoku comes on board and 2 level 6s come on board, you do lose the nib. So I apologize. My apologies. You're gonna go ahead and go engraver. I don't know why I popped the I don't know why I used engraver's effect to pop here. It does not pop since our opponent did not use nib here. That was just my apologies. So we're gonna move that back over here. So then if they nib here at this latest, which is the latest point, you could they can nib here. You could chain a Baoku here. And next after that, they wipe the board, you know, Lacrima shuffle. I know we already did that, didn't we? We already shuffled. I don't remember. I don't remember. Okay, but this is our end board here. If they nib you at the latest point, you have a Baoku guaranteed on board. Then you go ahead and go Trouble Sunny. Then Frost can go and draw a card. Trouble Sunny contributes itself, some back to 2 twins. Now, this does look like a bad hand, but remember, I just put Lacrima at the top of the deck when I was playtesting here. And remember, Lila can go ahead and pop the Nibiru or whatever you want to pop on your opponent's side of the field. He's going to draw. And basically, this can be up to 5 hand traps, right? So here we only have like 1 hand trap here. But you still have like a decent amount of follow-up here. So you have the Engraver, the Baoku, stuff like that. So if you have high impactful hand traps in hand, you're basically good to go, right? So yeah, that is the 1-card combo for Frost. Now let's go on to a 1-card combo with the Fiendsmith. Alrighty, so welcome to another 1-card combo. This 1-card combo can be done with basically any 1-card combo of the deck. So it can be done with the Engraver, it can be done with any of the Fiendsmith spells, yeah. Any of the Fiendsmith spells. It could be done with Sunny Snitch that could grab you a Ki-sikil. It could be Ki-sikil herself or Ki-sikil Frost or Lila. So any 1-card combo here. Basically, this is going to be a way you could play around Fuwa loss. Now, there's not much you can do without giving a lot of draws to your opponent, depending on the hand that you have. So no matter what combo you do, you're still going to give your opponent a lot of draws. So this combo, though, is really good, especially when you have Fuwa in hand going first, right? So really, I recommend this only if you really have Fuwa loss or something like Nibiru in hand. That is like basically any impactful hand traps in hand. But once you get Fuwa loss, you're kind of screwed. And if you let it resolve, so here I have Ash, right? So if my opponent Fuwa losses me, I'm gonna Ash. But let's say if they Fuwa loss and I don't have like anything like Ash or anything like that, right? So let's say if this was a Belle, right? So we're gonna go and go Ki-sikil. He's gonna chain Fuwa loss, which I don't recommend chaining Fuwa loss to Ki-sikil, just because of the fact that your opponent can have Sweet in hand. If they have Sweet, they can negate your Fuwa loss, right? And if that's your only Fuwa loss in hand, I don't really recommend it. Even if it's not your only Fuwa loss in hand, I don't recommend chaining Ki-sikil, chaining Full Loss to Ki-sikil's effect. Just wait until after she summons out the Lilla, right? So let's say if they go into Full Loss and chaining to our Lilla, to our Ki-sikil here, right? So basically they get one draw here. Two draws off of the Ki-sikil summon here, and then 3 draws off of the Requiem here. So we give them a total of 3 draws, but we still have 5 disruptions, right? So basically what they have here, they have a 9-card hand, I believe. So they're going to draw for turn. So if they use Full Loss, that's 4. They get 3 back, so it's just 7. Okay, and then after that, there's 8. So they have a total of 8 cards in hand now. And we just gave them 3 draws, right? But we do have a nice setup here. So we have Full Loss in hand. So nice interaction that I like doing is to have Full Loss in hand. And this you're usually giving them 1 draw if you start with Requiem, by the way. If you start with Engraver or any of the Fiendsmith spells, you're only giving them 1 draw, by the way. So that's usually why I like starting off with the Fiendsmith cards first when I'm doing any of my combos. Just because of that, if they Full Loss you, you only give them 1 draw, and basically sets up a Caesar early, so they have no choice to 5 mana early. They have no choice to K9 Izuna early. They have no choice to Nib early. There's a lot of cards that they have to really just use them early, right? Which is very unideal for them, but ideal for us, really. So yeah, so Requiem here can go ahead on their turn. Use its effects, and since you have no cards on board, since it tributes for cost, you can chain Full Loss here, and now your opponent's under Full Loss. So yes, nice. They are eating their own medicine, and yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and go get the Lacrima Paradise set up here. That's where you can send a card on field to grave, and then you also have whatever hand drops you have in your hand as well. So let's say if you have 4 hand drops plus the Full Loss, and remember you're getting draws as well for them playing the game. So if they're trying to end the game here, you're still gonna get a bunch of draws, and then it's still decent since you run so many hand traps because you just running so many hand traps in the deck. Usually you're running like 21 and up in hand traps, so. It's just really hard for your opponent to play the game if you're constantly drawing hand traps off of the Full Loss here. And it's even if you don't have Full Loss in hand and you set up that board, if you have like high impactful hand traps like Nibiru and stuff like that, they're not gonna, most of the time they're not gonna kill you that turn, right? Which is really, really nice. So that's a nice play that I like to do into Full Loss. It definitely beats combos like the Rex Tremende combo where you just set up Rex Tremende giving them like 6 draws. That's something I really, really do not like, which I'll be showing you guys why in a future video. I don't like the Rex Tremende combo. But yeah, this is a 1-card combo just to play around Full Loss. I thought this would be really useful for you guys. So yeah, let me show you guys another 1-card combo. But this time it's gonna be a Fiendsmith 1-card combo, and this is gonna be our last 1-card combo. Alright, so welcome to the next and last and final 1-card combo for the deck. And this is going to include Engraver. So this is any Fiendsmith card, by the way. You could get to basically the same end board with any Fiendsmith card. All you need is 1 Engraver, one of the, what's it called? The Fiendsmith spells, or even you could do this with Lurie or Lacrima. Does not matter. So there's plenty of ways you could do this here. And I'll be showing you guys why in a bit. So let's say if you only have Engraver here, you're going to go ahead and grab Tract. You're going to go ahead and get a Lurie here. Lurie's going to summon itself back. You're going to go ahead and link into Requiem. And then Requiem effect here is going to summon back the Lacrima, okay? Lacrima is then going to send a Fiendsmith. And then we're going to go ahead and equip the Requiem to our Lacrima. And then after that, we're going to go into Baoku. I mean, not Baoku here. We're going to go into our copy of Necroquip, right? Next, we're going to shuffle back in order to summon back the Engraver. So we shuffle back Lurie here, by the way, in order to do summon back Engraver. And then we're going to go into Caesar here, and that is our end board. So very simple end board, but it's still a very, very impactful end board, okay? So what you have here is 3 disruptions plus whatever cards you have in hand. So you have 2 negates off of Caesar. Lacrima Engraved that has the nice Requiem and Lacrima setup, so it could get you into Paradise here, which is really, really nice. We're going to go send Paradise, then go ahead and send the Desiree, and then Desiree is then going to go ahead and shuffle back the Requiem, send a card on field to grave. And let's say we have 4 hand traps in hand, we have 4 disruptions in total. So total 7 disruptions up to 7 disruptions. So let's say if you have 2 hand traps, this would be 5 disruptions. It's still insanely good for it being a 1-card combo, as well as setting like a board like this off of just 1 engraver, which is really nice. And yeah, so this is gonna be your 1-card Fiendsmith combo. Sometimes you're gonna have times where you're only drawing Fiendsmith cards, so this is a very useful combo to know when playing this deck. Yeah. So now that we are done with the 1-card combos, let's go into some 2-card combos here and level up the deck's end boards basically. Alrighty, so welcome to our first 2-card combo today's video. This 2-card combo is going to be Frost plus Ki-sikil, okay? So this is going to be the safe combo. Basically, what I mean by safe, you're going to be playing through like hand traps like Nibiru and stuff like that very safely, okay? There is an unsafe way where you can end on a bigger board, but it's just a little bit more vulnerable to hand traps, right? So I'm going to be showing you guys both versions of that combo. So this version I'm going to show you specifically here. First, on how to play with the safe. Usually I like playing safe combo first just because that's the type of player I am. I like playing safe around hand traps and stuff like that, and still end on like a low ceiling board, like sort of like low ceiling, but you have like a bunch of hand traps to confiscate for that, which is really nice. So we're going to go ahead and go with Ki-sikil. Ki-sikil effect is going to summon back Lilla. Then we're going to go ahead and go into Deal. The effect is going to go ahead and go Sweet. I sound like a auctioneer. Don't mind me. And then we're going to go Sweet effect to go ahead and link off the Deal into Requiem. Requiem is then going to go ahead and summon back Lacrima. Remember, very rinse and repeat, very repetitive. Yeah, so we're going to go into Lilla. Then we're going to go ahead to Ki-sikil. So this is the... also, by the way, I forgot to go into the... Requiem here, but I think we didn't do that for a reason. I forgot we do. No, I didn't go into a Necroquip here. My apologies. So we're gonna go into a Trouble Sunny here, and then Trouble Sunny is gonna summon back to 2 twins, and then after that we're gonna go ahead and go Ki-sikil to draw, and we're gonna link into a Baoku here, so that way we are protected from Nibiru now. So if they nib us here, we can just chain a Baoku here, right? So next we're gonna go into Requiem. Requiem is then gonna go into equip. It's equipped itself to Lacrima, and then after I go into Necroquip here, we're going to go ahead and go and summon back an Engraver, go into Caesar, and then use the Baoku's effect to discard the Frost, and then go into Trouble Sunny, right? So we're not really doing anything in the safe combo, we're not really doing anything extra with this one extra body here. We're not really doing anything like that. We're mostly just trying to save our resources as much as possible and use them efficiently in order to sort of plan ahead and sort of play through our opponent's interruptions if they have any, right? So yeah, this is the 1-card combo, 1-card safe combo that you could do, but it still ends on a pretty big board, right? So you have, remember, 4 other cards in hand. So let's say if you have like 3 other cards in hand, since this was a 2-card combo. My apologies, I forgot. And plus whatever card you drew, right? So you have Frost that could draw a card. Trouble Sunny can summon back to 2 twins. Ki-sikil and Lilla can pop and draw. You can go into Caesar. Baoku can discard a card in order to pop a card on board. We got the Lacrima set up too. That could go ahead and use the Requiem effect in order to go and summon back the Lacrima. And then Lacrima effect can go ahead and send the Paradise, send the Desiree, shuffle back to his Requiem, and then go and send a card to Field to Grave. And plus, you have whatever hand traps you have in your hand on board, which is really nice. So, still very powerful combo. This is a safer combo against hand traps, but still very powerful, right? So, now let me show you the unsafe combo that you guys can do with Ki-sikil plus Frost. Alright, so welcome to the 2-card combo yet again, Live Twin plus Ki-sikil Frost. So we're going to normal summon Ki-sikil here. Remember, this is the no safety combo. So this is not going to be playing around any hand traps. Yes, it's still going to play around certain hand traps, of course. But, you know, still like a little bit unsafe. Has a little bit more choke points. But, yeah, we're going to go ahead and go Lacrima here. And go Requiem. Summon back the Lacrima from our deck. And then after that, I'm going to go send the Fiendsmith. We're going to link into Lilla. We're going to go in Lilla, summon back Ki-sikil. Then we're going to link those 2 into Ki-sikil. Ki-sikil effect is going to summon back Lilla. We're going to go into Trouble Sunny here. And then after that, Trouble Sunny can summon back to 2 twins. Then Ki-sikil is going to get us a nice draw here, okay? So next we get Special Summon the Frost. Link those 2 into Sequence. Sequence effect is going to activate. We're going to shuffle back 2 Life Fiends in order to summon back a Lacrima. Lacrima is going to add to hand our Engraver. We're not going to summon it back. We're going to add it to hand. We're going to use the Engraver effect to add Detract. And we're going to activate Tract here. So Tract gets the Lurry. Lurry summons itself. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and go shuffle back. And so in order to summon back Engraver, we're going to use Tract effect to fuse 3 monsters in order to go into Desiree. Now, I'm sure you could do this combo very differently. There's variations of combos that could get to the same end board. I probably did this in a certain way that probably wasn't ideal, so my apologies. There's probably a different way you could do that. You probably could use Sequence effect to shuffle back 3 life fiends from grave, but this is just basically the way when I was playtesting on how I figured out how to do this combo, right? But if you find a way to do the combo better, then and more efficiently, then you could do whatever combo you like, right? Next, you're gonna go with link into a Baoku here, link it off to Sequence plus the Lila. We're gonna discard a card, summon back a Light or Dark. We're gonna summon back Caesar, and then equip the Sequence. Don't forget it, and go into a Baoku and pass. Okay. Remember, we have 3 other cards in hand, I believe. And yeah, this is our end board here. Okay, so a very, very a pressuring end board, I guess, intimidating end board. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So we have Baoku, discard a card in order to summon back any Light or Dark. We have Ki-sikil, since we shuffled back the Trouble Sunny earlier. We have Ki-sikil effect that can summon back to Lila. We're gonna go ahead and Lila, summon back a pop a card, and we have Ki-sikil Frost that can draw us a card. Desiree can negate, Caesar can negate twice, and you have whatever hand traps you have in your hand as well. So very insane end board here. This is a more unsafe combo, so there are some choke points in this combo specifically. But yeah, still a very, very powerful combo. Now let's go on to a 2-card combo, getting Ashed on Requiem. Alright, so welcome to 2-card combo. 2-card combo is going to basically could be a Ki-sikil plus Frost or an Extender. Could really be any Extender. But this is going to be if you get Ashed on Requiem, okay? So people just love holding Ashed Requiem in this deck, against this deck specifically. So I'll be showing you guys what you could do with a 2-card combo if you get Ashed on Requiem. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go into Requiem. Requiem is going to get Ashed by our opponent because he is an absolute poop. We're going to go ahead and go into Lila, summon back Ki-sikil. And then after that, we're going to go Ki-sikil effect, summon back Lila. And then after that, we're going to go into Trouble Sunny, summon back to 2 twins. And then Ki-sikil is going to draw a card. And then we're going to go activate Snitch in order to add the Frost. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and summon the Frost. And then link into Sequence. Sequence, shuffle back 2 Life Fiends. In order to summon out our Lacrima. Lacrima summons back any Life Fiends. We're going to summon back Trouble Sunny. And then after that, we're going to go and link into a Baoku here. And next, we're going to equip the Sequence to our Lacrima in order to summon out Necroquip. And then we're going to go ahead and shuffle back the Sequence in order to burn for 12. Then we're going to go into Baoku, summon back the Lacrima, and then go into Caesar here. Okay, so this combo here specifically, you're not required to use a Baoku's effect in order to summon back Trouble Sunny. So you have that nice free pop off Baoku as well. Remember, you have 3 other cards in hand as well, plus 2 draws, I believe, because the Ki-sikil Frost plus the Ki-sikil is summoned off of the Trouble Sunny. So you have 5 cards in hand plus a pop, 2 pops, and then 2 negates. So really, really nice here. And yeah, so it's still really, really powerful end board, and it's just able to play through the Ashe so easily right now. The deck is now able to play through Ashe much, much easier than it was before, right? So yeah, now we're done with this combo. Let's show you some more of the more powerful 2-card combos. Alright, so welcome to probably what is the most powerful 2-card combo in the entire deck, which is Ki-sikil plus Engraver. I'll be showing you guys that now. So we're gonna go ahead and go Ki-sikil summon back Lila. We're gonna go ahead and go with deal effects, go and send a Sweet. Sweet is then going to go and summon itself. We're gonna go link to Requiem here. Remember, this is uninterrupted here. And Requiem is gonna send back the Lacrima. Lacrima is then going to go ahead and send the Engraver. Gonna go link it to Lila. Lila summon back Ki-sikil. Go ahead and go link these 2 into Ki-sikil. Ki-sikil summon back the Lila. Then after that, we're going to go into Trouble Sunny. Trouble Sunny summon back the 2 twins. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and get the draw of Ki-sikil, okay? So we're going to get the draw for Ki-sikil here. Then go draw into anything other than Tract here. So we're going to go into a Baoku here. We're going to go Engraver effect here in order to go ahead and grab a Tract. Tract is then going to be activated, summoning the Lurry. We are then going to link into Sequence. Sequence effect, I believe, is going to be going to shuffle back 3 Life Fiends. And after that, we're going to go and summon out the Desiree. Remember, we still have an Engraver engraved since we sent it off a Bow. So we're going to summon out Desiree here. We're going to use track to fuse the Desiree plus the sequence in order to summon out the Lacrima. Lacrima is then going to summon back to Desiree. And we're going to use Engraver effect to shuffle back to Trouble Sunny in order to summon back Engraver, since there's not really anything else you really want to be shuffling back, because you really want to keep this like Lacrima setup here. So you're going to go into Caesar here and then equip the sequence and then discard in order to summon back the Ki-sikil, right? And then this is going to be end board here. So if end phase, Abaku comes back. Now, if you want to keep Trouble Sunny on board, you can shuffle back the Requiem, okay? Since if you use all your disruptions here, you won't be able to use your Lacrima setup Engrave, right? It still gives you nice follow-up, but and a nice interruptions that save the out a certain monster you have. It's basically if your opponent has a board breaker like Dark Ruler No More or something like that, it just still gives you that option to be able to have an extra interruption Engrave, right? Which is something I really, really like. That's why I have this is why in this combo specifically I should like to shuffle back Trouble Sunny. You're gonna go ahead and go Ki-sikil effect. So summon back to Lela. Lela can pop a card on board. Abaku can go ahead and discard pop. We have Caesar that has 2 negates on board. And after that, we have Desiree that can negate +2 hand traps or whatever hand traps we have in our hand as well, right? Which is an insane combo. So now in this combo specifically, you have a lot more on-field guaranteed disruptions, plus engrave, plus in your hand. So just a little bit from everywhere here. But yes, very, very nice here. I like this combo a lot because you're not required to have like any hand traps in hand, and still have like a really nice big board on your side of the field, right? So yeah, that is a 2-card combo with Ki-sikil and Engraver. But you also have a 2-card combo with Ki-sikil Frost Engraver, and that which is still very, very nice, which I'll be showing you guys why very, very soon. Let's go on right into it. Alrighty, so this is going to be the Ki-sikil Frost combo plus Engraver. So we're going to normal summon our Ki-sikil Frost. Ki-sikil Frost is then going to go and link it to deal. And then Sweet is going to be summoned back off our deal effect. I will send it for cost. We're then going to use the Requiem and then go into Lacrima. Lacrima effect here is going to send the Fiendsmith. And we're going to link these two into Lila. Lila is going to summon back Ki-sikil. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and link these two off for a copy of Ki-sikil. Ki-sikil summon back to Lila. And then after that, we're going to go into Trouble Sunny. Trouble Sunny, summon back to 2 twins. Ki-sikil is then going to give you a nice draw here. And yeah, so we're going to use Engraver effect here to go into and add track, grab Lurie, discard Lurie, summon back to Lurie. And then we're going to link into sequence here, okay? Sequence is going to activate this effect. I believe, yes, we're going to be summoning out our copy of Desiree here. We're going to link into Abaku here. Abaku is then going to sit there for now. We're going to go and shuffle back, summon back the Engraver. We're then going to go and track to fuse the Engraver plus the Desiree in order to summon back the Lacrima. We're going to summon back the Desiree here off of the Lacrima. We're going to equip the Requiem to the Lacrima. Then after I send those to the grave for the Necroquip, we're then going to use the effect of Lacrima in order to send a shuffle back to the Requiem in order for burn for 12. We're going to equip the sequence to our Desiree. Then after I go to a Baoku, discard a card in order to summon it back our Lacrima. We draw a card here. So then after that, we're going to go into Caesar and then pass turn here. So this is our end board here with the 2-card combo, which is Frost and Ki-sikil, which is just going to be Desiree plus a Bao plus a Caesar. And you also have Trouble Sunny Engrave's nice setup, which is really, really nice here. So remember, you have 3 other cards in hand, I believe. And yeah, so this is our end board here. So then we're going to go ahead and go Abaku, discard a card, so I'm back to Trouble Sunny. Then Ki-sikil Frost effect is going to activate to draw a card. Trouble Sunny is going to summon back 2 twins. Ki-sikil is going to draw. Lela's going to pop. And after that, Desiree is going to activate to negate. You have 2 negates off of Caesar, and you have whatever hand traps you have in your hand and field, which is a really, really powerful combo. Even still being that it's a Ki-sikil Frost combo, it is still a very, very extremely powerful combo. Just because of the inclusion of Lacrima just makes this combo just that much insane. So now that we're done with this combo, for our last and final combo of today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys a 2-card combo. Alright, so for the last and final combo of today's video, this is going to be a 2-card combo, Fiendsmith plus any extender, right? So in this case, we have a Fiendsmith plus Tract. So we're going to use Fiendsmith effect here in order to go ahead and grab the Sanct. Sanct is then going to go ahead and summon out a token. we're going to link the token off into Rec Room here. Rec Room is then going to summon back the Lacrima. Lacrima is then going to use its effects to send the Engraver. Then we're going to go Tract, grab the Lurry, discard the Lurry, then go and summon out the Lurry. And yeah, so we're going to go with link it to Sequence here. Sequence is going to shuffle back, I believe, 2 Life Fiends. Yes. No, we're going to go with shuffle back 3 here. So we're going to summon back Desiree here. And next we're going to go into Tract here, shuffle back. Fuse these 2 off into a Lacrima. Lacrima is going to summon back to Desiree. We're going to use Engraver effect here, shuffle back the Rec Room, summon back the Engraver. And then after that, we're going to equip the Sequence and then go into Caesar. Okay, so this is our end board here. Remember, this is 2 card combos with 3 other cards in hand. But we have a lot of disruptions here. Very, very scary board here. So we have Desiree that can negate. We have 2 negates off of Caesar, plus whatever hand traps we have in our hand as well, right? So it's still, so the Fiendsmith side of the thing, the Fiendsmith side of the deck isn't that powerful. It's still, don't get me wrong, it's still extremely powerful, but it's not as powerful than without the live twin side of the deck, right? So live twin side of the deck just really gives that Fiendsmith that oomph, you know, that extra power. But still, even without the live twins, you're still able to make insane boards like this, right? So it's really, really nice. You just need hand traps paired with this board. But most of the time, if you're not drawing Fiendsmith, if you're not drawing live twin cards, so you're not gonna have live twin cards. Most of the time, you're gonna be having hand traps anyways. And this is just so most of the time you just be able to have hand traps, right? And yeah, that is for the last and final combo today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It took me a very long time to make, so please show some support by liking and subscribing this video, and sharing with any friends that are trying to get or that are interested in getting to play the live twin deck. I really do recommend it. This is a very powerful deck, and it's very it's easy to learn but hard to master, if that makes sense, right? Just like any other deck, right? Any other deck that's not Malice, for some reason, just Malice just never got to me, especially Malice or Ritual Beast. Those decks just never got to me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you found this informative and helpful. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.